7th period. How are you guys doing? Hi. Okay, so just as like a first opener question, I'm going to put a question in the chat for you to answer in the chat, and then while you're answering, I'm gonna put the raccoon up. Okay, so the raccoon. Okay. Thanks for the answers. Hello. Time with dogs. That is amazing. I wish I had animals that I, could spend time with. And it's really great, Kayla, that your family's healthy. I hope all of your families are healthy. More time to sleep. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying that, like, even though I'm working, like, as your sub, it's not like it's a more relaxed school, it's not like normal school hours where, I would kind of be on, working from like 8 o'clock until 3 or something, but it's sort of like I do most of my work in the morning, and then I'm usually done by, noon or so. So it's kind of nice that like it's like I don't have to work as many hours, even though I, still do a little something every day. I think one thing that I'm really grateful for, I was grateful that, so last Friday, my husband and I, we finished, this sounds so boring, but we finished our taxes. So we got a call from our tax woman, and she finished our taxes, and it was just kind of like a relief to just get that finished, so that we're done with that. We don't have to worry about it. And then I found out that we're getting a tax refund. So it was kind of like, it's a cool, nice little surprise. I didn't, I kind of hoped that I would get one, but you can never tell. So it was kind of nice. Like, oh, good. Little happy, little like little burst of happiness. Do you all know what tax refunds are? Does it make sense when I say like I'm getting a tax refund? Okay, well, just for those of you that maybe like aren't familiar, so when you're old enough to have your first job, a job that you actually get like a paycheck and stuff like that. So like I'm not talking about like if you babysit and stuff like that and then someone pays you in cash. I'm talking about like you actually got employed by someone and you had to fill out like a form and stuff like that. So when you get your first job and you start working, what happens is that from your paycheck, you get money taken out of your paycheck. It's called a deduction, and that gets sent to the government or the state. So you pay both federal taxes to the government and then state taxes to the state. And so every time you get paid, some money is taken out of your paycheck to go towards your taxes for the government and the state. And then when it's time to do taxes in April and you file your taxes, that's when you find out how much money you actually owe to the government and the state. And so two things can happen. Either you paid more money than you needed to every time you took some money out of your paycheck. Maybe you took out more than you needed to, and so whenever you do your taxes, you find out, oh, I paid more than I needed to, and so the government gives you some money back. That's called a refund. the other thing that could happen is that you didn't pay enough money, so then you have to pay taxes again. So it's always nice to get a refund, which we got. So it's not really like, oh, here's extra money, but it kind of feels that way because it was like, I felt like it was going away to taxes, but then it comes back to me, so that was cool. Sorry if that was like super boring. I don't know, maybe that's what happens when you become adult. All these boring things are like the highlights of your life. You know, I have a couple friends from high school. I only keep in contact with 2 people from high school. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I know some people that like they keep up with a lot of their high school friends, and they have like a core like squad or something, and they like stay together like forever. But for me, there's only just 2 people that I really still keep in touch with, and like we hang out and we go hiking and everything. And I was just noticing, like, it was a couple years ago, but I was noticing, like, oh my gosh, now that we are all graduated from college, like, our conversation topics are just like all these adult topics, like, how long is your commute to work, or what do you pay for rent, or where's a good place to get a house. And it was like all our conversations revolved around gas prices, the housing market, or like job, stuff with our work, our plans of working or changing jobs or something. The last time we were talking together on like Facebook video chat, we were talking about like retirement funds and taxes. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's what you have to look forward to when you become my age. Your conversations with your friends are all about like taxes, retirement, and housing. Okay. One thing I wanted to and make an announcement about, it's just sort of like a random thing that you may or may not be interested in. So I don't know how many of you out there are musicians, and if you like singing or choir or stuff like that. But I do. I was in choir since I was 7. I studied music when I was in college alongside engineering. And so I wanted to show you this. So Eric Whitaker is he is my favorite composer ever, and he's done these things called virtual choirs in the past, where basically he composes a piece and it has different voice parts, and he creates a recording of each voice part, so you could choose which voice part you want to learn, and then you can just learn that part and then record yourself singing that voice part, and then he puts it all together and puts all the voices together, and then it creates like one massive choir of like thousands of people, and it's really cool. I mean, if you want to look at his past virtual choirs, you can do that and just kind of see how cool it is. So he's doing another one soon, and I think it just really is a really like beautiful picture of like people that are separated from each other coming together virtually to like make something beautiful. And I think that's kind of just what we need in this quarantine time, when we're separated from each other, but we could still come together virtually and create something. So I just wanted to put that out there in case it sounds interesting to any of you. Again, like I said, I don't know if there are musicians out there, so I just wanted to share in case there's a fellow musician And if you decide to do it, I mean, I'm gonna do it, but if you decide to do it, you should let me know, and then we can be happy together that we're doing this really cool thing. Or if you know someone that, if you have a music-loving friend, you can tell your music-loving friend about this. All right. I wanted to go over a little bit about the inventory check activities. So I was going to do an example of like my own items, and I'll just share like 3 examples with you of items from my own sort of knick-knack drawer thing. So the first one is, this is one of those Pop Funko things. It's the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who, because I like Doctor Who, and a friend had given this to me. And I never took it out of the box because, I don't know, I just like keeping things in like pristine condition. I don't know, I have a thing against it. I don't open things. I just leave it like, oh, it looks nice in the box. So, you know, when I'm thinking about like, what is this made of? The box is paper, and then this part is plastic, and then the toy itself is plastic. So then if we think about like the materials that I talked about in the last video I did, plastic, I mean, this plastic probably can't be recycled because, I mean, I don't know, there isn't like a, you know, the little triangle with a number in it or anything, so I don't know if that plastic can be recycled. But as I said, plastic can only be recycled like a limited number of times, and it loses its quality every time it's recycled, so I would probably just have to throw that away. But the paper, the box part, it can be recycled, or it can be composted because it comes from a tree, which is an organic living thing. So I could compost the box or recycle it, my choice. The toy is plastic, but since it is a toy, it probably could be, you know, given, you know, a new life with someone else. So if I was to get rid of this today, instead of throwing it away, since it's a toy, I would probably give it away as a gift to a kid or a friend that really likes Doctor Who or likes these Pop Funko things. And especially because I kept it in pretty nice condition, like it's in the box, I never opened it and everything. I'm doing well. How are you today? I forget who this is. I mean, like, your name. Is this, Annabelle? Because I remember someone from this class, they had like an alternate like gaming account thing, but I can't remember who it is. Maybe it was like Angelo or Annabelle or someone. Okay, whatever. Okay, so yeah, I would give this away to a friend or a kid. Wait, which one? I said 2 names. Angelo or Annabelle? Oh, okay. Well, nameless person, I'm glad you're here. Okay, no, never mind. Annabelle is here. Sorry. I sometimes get confused with, like, I won't always remember, like, you know, different like account aliases and stuff like that. Okay, anyway, moving on. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining. Okay, I already went through this. I'm done with this one. Alright, second thing I have is a Sudoku book because I like Sudoku. And I've had this since I was younger than double digits. I was maybe 8 or 9 or something. So it's been with me for over a decade. And it's a book, so it's made of paper, right? And paper is, it's a tree-based material. So I could recycle this as an option. I could also compost it as another option because paper is biodegradable. So those are probably the two options I would do: recycle or compost. And then the last item I was going to share is Don't Judge Me, Taylor Swift CD that I got for my birthday a couple years ago when I was in college. More than a couple years ago, several years ago when I was in college. So the outside cover, that's made of paper, right? And then inside the CD case is plastic, and then the actual CD is like a metal and something or other, metal and plastic, I think. So if I was gonna get rid of this right now, there are a few options. I could, treat each component separately. So like I could recycle the paper part. I could for the CD and the CD case, there are places that will recycle CDs. Let's say if this was broken or whatever, I found it one day and it was broken, it couldn't be used anymore. I did find this place once because I have a couple of broken DVDs that I need to get rid of. Well, they're not mine, they're my husband's, but I'm gonna get rid of them one day. And I found this place, I think it's in Burlingame, that will kind of take, broken CDs, DVDs, and stuff like that, and they recycle it, and try to salvage the metal parts or whatever to be reused. And the plastic CD case still in good condition, so I could maybe donate it to a CD shop or something. Maybe someone would have a use for it. But the others, that's a demonstration of how if you have an item, you could separate it out into all its components and then try to get rid of each component separately. Or if the item is still in pretty good condition as a whole, which it is, what I would probably do is I would donate it to the library because the libraries take books, CDs, DVDs, as long as it's in good condition, and then somebody can be listening to Taylor Swift 1989, and it kind of preserves the original purpose of this product and gives it a longer lifespan so that people can continue listening to this music until the day comes where it's broken and then it really does need to be taken apart. So that's kind of how I approach most items. If I want to get rid of an item and it is not yet showing signs of damage or wear and tear, then usually I'm trying to donate to somewhere. I donate books to the library, CDs and DVDs can be donated to the library, or Goodwill or stuff like that. Or you could sell it, Craigslist, eBay, or give it to a friend. The thing that you need to be careful with Goodwill, though, is that the way Goodwill works, it's not just a place to donate junk and get rid of the junk in your house. How Goodwill works is that it's supposed to take the stuff that you're getting rid of and be able to sell it in their their Goodwill stores at a lower price. And so if your item is not in a good enough condition to be sellable, where nobody would buy it, or it's a type of item that is just so obscure that no other person would really be hey, I want to buy that, because maybe it says Mills class of 2022 or whatever, and then who's gonna want to buy that if they're not the class of 2022 and they don't go to Mills, right? then it's not going to be useful to Goodwill. And then they're not going to be able to sell it, and then they're going to have to throw it away at some point. So that's the one thing to be careful about if you're trying to just give stuff to Goodwill. Do I like boba? Of course I like boba. I miss boba. I miss a lot of things. I miss going to brunch, most of all. The last time I had boba was actually a really long time ago, because I don't like go that often because it can be expensive. But what was it called? Urban Ritual in downtown San Mateo. The friends that I was talking about earlier, how we only talk about taxes and stuff like that, those friends from high school, I went with them to Urban Ritual after we went like hiking for 5 hours. It wasn't 5 hours, it was 2 hours. But we went hiking, and then I had Urban Ritual, and that was like the day after New Year's Day, because it was like our New Year's hike. So it's been like 5 months I've had boba. Okay. Okay, how about you? Can someone share something from their inventory check? You know, an item, what it's made of, and if you were going to get rid of that item right now, like what are the ways that you could get rid of it? Okay, cool. Teddy bear. I have one too. What would you say it's made of? Yeah, cotton is a good, a good guess of what it might be made of. I would think that the stuffing inside of it might probably be cotton as well, like more of the cotton ball type material. And so yeah, you could give it away if it's still in a good enough condition. And textiles sometimes a little tricky trying to recycle textiles. It's possible, but there's just at least like around us, I mean like here in the Bay Area, but as far as I've researched, it's kind of tricky to find textile recycling programs. Okay. Report back to us about what's happening outside. Yeah, medicine is considered a thing. Anyone else sharing things from your inventory check? We can have multiple people sharing about their inventory check at the same time. It doesn't have to be like one at a time. What do you think you would do with medicine if you had expired medicine and you wanted to get rid of it? Pencil holder made of plywood. Okay, so a wood-based material, wood-based material. What do you think you would do with it if you wanted to get rid of it right now? Same for the Altoids and the container that the Altoids are probably in. I don't know what that is. What is that, Jonathan? Yeah, you could recycle the container, Hanson, because the Altoids container, it's that metal tin, right? I'm assuming. So metal is easily recyclable. So Tylenol, something in the periodic table. So okay, so with medicine, the thing that you want to be careful of, especially when you're getting rid of medicine, is that medicine. I don't know if you noticed that medicine almost never tastes good, and it kind of tastes. It often tastes like a little bitter or something, um, because medicine tends to have. Okay, it's not like it's not. I want to be really careful how I say this because it does do a job, but because medicine is doing whatever job it's supposed to be doing to help you, but it's comprised of like different chemicals, and I say that in a very generic way, not like the chemicals that are like unhealthy for you or something, but like medicine will contain like small amounts of what could be like man, I wish I could remember exactly how my biology teacher in college said this, because I really don't want to say this the wrong way. Like the materials or the ingredients that make up medicine can be, it's like it is possibly made of like materials that maybe in large amounts might be like toxic, but because of the dosage in the medicine, it's not, and it actually like helps whatever it's supposed to do to help. But because of that, you shouldn't throw it away, and you shouldn't pour it down the drain if it's liquid or anything like that, because you don't want that going into the water system and then going out into the ocean and then somehow harming wildlife out in the ocean or whatever. So with medicine, you should there are plenty of places like that you can dispose of your medicine safely, and it kind of like a lot of hospitals have these medicine collection bins or whatever, that whenever I have medicine that is expired or I don't want it anymore or I don't need it anymore, then I just throw it in the collection bin at like a lot of Kaisers have it. I only know that because I go to Kaiser, but even like if you go to like the San Mateo County Sustainable something or other and you look up like getting rid of medicine, like there's a bunch of places like the police departments or other places that allow you to like dispose of your medicine, and they have different like collection bins just to prevent it from like not, you don't want it to be a hazard somewhere else. Okay, so it's a type of instrument. What is the instrument made of? plastic. Okay, so, what are you thinking would be, what are some pathways if you were going to get rid of this right now? Like, what are some options besides throwing it away? Okay, great. Yes, you could sell it. Craigslist, eBay, um, or a friend that you know would be really interested in it. Yeah, and then that would kind of help help that item continue on its life, doing what it was meant to be. Yeah, no, don't mix all the unwanted medicine together. Um, and one of the things that um, has really become a part of my life, and maybe it can become a more regular part of your life, is for items that are still in pretty good condition, um, um, really consider that giving it to someone that might want it or need it, or something like that, or just selling it, Craigslist, eBay, whatever. Doing anything you can to help prolong the life, like so that that object maybe goes through several owners, is really it's a really sustainable practice. Like the whole thing of secondhand things, like pretty much all the furniture in my apartment is secondhand. Like my husband and I did not buy any new furniture for our apartment. So the desk that I use came from a family friend who loves buying stuff at garage sales. Sofas and coffee table and whatnot came from my husband's dad, and our bed frame and dresser, my best friend's parents. They wanted to get rid of their old bed and dresser and get a new one, so then they give it to us. And so really all of our large furniture items came secondhand, and then that means that we being my husband and I, we don't have to go buy new things, and we're prolonging the life of these furniture items so that they can keep living and serving its purpose under different owners until they reach the point where they really have reached the end of its life and just cannot function as its original purpose. And then at that point, when it's absolutely no longer functional, can't be fixed or anything, then you can start thinking about, how do I get rid of this based off of what it's made of? I mean, how do I just recycle or throw away or whatever based off of what it's made of? Okay, thanks for sharing, you all, about the things in your inventory check. I hope you found it sort of interesting to kind of go through this activity of just thinking about, what do you do with your items that you no longer want? Because one of the things I wanted to convey through this activity is just the idea that you are responsible for everything that you own, everything that you take into your life. You are now responsible for it, and sometimes we don't really realize that unless it's a big item. We don't really realize the weight of its responsibility. But when you don't want this item in your life anymore, you're responsible for making a decision about what to do with it. And most of the time, if it was just trash, a chip bag that you finished, it's sort of okay, you just throw it away, easy. But still, you were responsible for even walking that chip bag over to the trash can and putting it in, because otherwise that chip bag would just stay with you forever. So the thing, it's a little weird sounding at first, but I'm kind of wanted to just like convey the idea that every item that you take into your life, it has a weight, like, of responsibility. That it adds a certain amount of responsibility to you. Oh no! Wait. Why does it say Eric? What? YouTube administrator? Wait, did it end? Like, do you still see me? Or hear me? Oh, okay. That was kind of weird. I like got something in the chat that says like the stream was ended due to violation. Okay, all right, we're still going. Okay, yeah. So that's all. That was kind of one of the things I wanted to kind of convey. All right. I wanted to take some time to answer any questions about the trash audit. So if you've gotten a chance to look at the instructions that I put up yesterday, and hopefully you started it yesterday, but you can start it today, that's fine. I'm going to be doing it with you. So actually a lot of the activities, starting like this week, the activities that I give you, I'm doing it with you. So that on Thursdays when we meet on Livestream, I will show you the results of my version of doing the activity, and then you get to share with me as well. So I think it's nicer that way, so that I guess that, like you get to see like what next week you'll get to see what's inside my trash audit when I finish it, and then I would like to hear what's in your trash audit. But I just wanted to know first if there were any questions, confusions, clarifications, strong feelings about this activity. You can. I'm not going to say like a hard yes or no, because the trash audit is less about rules. Like, you kind of have the authority to make your own like rules about it, because really, like, you can be as invested into this activity as you want. So if you want to count the recycling, and then you want to like kind of see, oh, like, how much paper waste do I generate in a week's time? Maybe you're interested in knowing that information. Then I would say, yeah, go for it. Like, put the recycling in with the trash audit as well, and then at the end of a week you separate it out, put it back in the recycling bin. I had someone in 5th period who said that her parents are very strict about recycling and composting. So, if that was the case, then don't disrupt your parents' system of recycling. And on that note, do make sure that you tell the people in your household that you're doing this. A, so that they don't accidentally throw away your trash audit. B, every person in the household contributes to, throwing away things or recycling things. And so to get an accurate idea of your household's, habits and lifestyle, you kind of need to be collecting data from the whole household. And I hope you really enjoy this activity, or find it as, I hope you find it as interesting as I did when I first did a trash audit. it sounded like really, okay, when I first heard the idea on YouTube, I was like, I don't want to do that. It sounds weird, gross, and like, I don't have time for this. But then I did it one week because I was just bored and curious. And then I actually like learned a lot about, I guess, what I throw away. And I was like really surprised at like how much, because like I was kind of thinking to myself like, I don't throw away that much stuff in my life. But then I did a trash audit and it was like a lot. Well, it was like a lot more than I thought it would be. So it really taught me like a lot about my own lifestyle and habits, and just helped me gain a lot more awareness. And I just want to be clear that this activity is not, I didn't set up this activity so that you feel badly about anything. Like if you have a lot of trash in your trash audit, I don't want you to feel badly about it. I'm never even really gonna like, nobody's really gonna even see like the results of your trash audit. And this is just for you to become more aware of your lifestyle and your habits. And so I've really tried to be consistent in like framing this whole unit and framing these activities from the perspective of like gaining awareness. That's the whole purpose of these activities, and a lot of this unit is just about gaining awareness. And so if you just become more aware, then I feel like you got what you were supposed to get out of this unit. Because the more we're aware of things in our lives, then we live more intentional lives. And my goal for any student that I come across is just that they live intentionally. So I just hope that you don't like feel that I'm trying to shame you or guilt you or anything through these activities. Like, that's definitely not the case. Or that's definitely not my intended purpose for these activities. Okay, are there any more questions about the trash audit or other questions about anything? We have a few more minutes. Or anything you're curious about, random sustainability questions. In 5th period, we get a lot of questions about dinosaurs because 5th period likes dinosaurs. 6th period was asking about COVID-19 and what's going to happen in the future. Okay, so the school year ends, you know, when it would have ended. Like, it's not like, the school year didn't like get shorter, technically. So like virtual school goes on, and you will have your finals week during whenever finals week was supposed to happen. May 15th, which is in 2 weeks from tomorrow. Oh my gosh, can you believe it's the last day of April? It's May tomorrow. May 1st is one of my favorite days because it's May Day, and I love saying May Day because it just sounds funny. I know, I'm weird. That's okay. Okay, so May 15th is supposed to be the last day that a teacher can assign new work or do any new teaching or new school content, anything. And then the week after May 15th, so that's, I'm looking at the calendar, that's May 18th until the 22nd, which would be like your review week before finals. That's meant to be like a catch-up week. So it's time for you to, that's like a buffer time so that you can catch up on any assignments or, you know, if there's anything that you discuss with your teachers, you can take care of that and all that stuff. And that is the week that Mr. Wang is coming back so that he'll be available to answer all your questions or tie up any loose ends or make sure that you get all your, that you get your work turned in and digitally and stuff like that. And then finals week is your regular finals week. It's just all going to be online. So your teachers may do an online final. Your teachers might not do a final at all, or they may do a project or whatever. I'm not sure if Mr. Wang had decided yet if he was going to do a final for your class. I think one of the reasons he hasn't emailed you yet, but he will soon, is just because he wants to make sure he answers everything in that one email, and cover all the details in one email. And I think there's just a lot of details that he's trying to nail down, including what to do about your final. So yeah, nothing's changing in the school schedule. It's just that it's all online. And you shouldn't have any more new content after May 15th. I hope your teachers follow that. Like for sure, I'm wrapping up this unit that week of May 15th. Whatever week that is. Any other questions? I was eating these cookies things that my aunt gave me for Christmas from Denmark or something, and then I saw on the back of the packaging there was like a little picture of a leaf and it said no palm oil on it, and it reminded me of that how I talked about palm oil deforestation. Remember? I don't know if you remember, but I talked about that once, and I was like, oh, here's a product without palm oil. Grades are due. Do you mean like when do teachers have to finalize whether or not the student gets credit or no credit, or are you saying like when are your assignments due? Okay, the deadline to submit assignments is like the end of the semester, really. So that's also kind of the other purpose of that buffer week, the review week, is to like give students more time to get in their assignments and stuff like that. Yes, you are. When Mr. Wang sends that email to you guys with a video and everything explaining all the steps, he'll have instructions on how you're gonna turn in, how you're gonna like do your notebook checks, and a list of all the assignments that you should have for a complete notebook check, and like a rubric and everything, so that you know exactly, so that if you're missing anything, you know how to like finish anything that you're missing. But yeah, you're gonna be, instead of like actually giving either of us your notebook, you're gonna be kind of making a video walking us through each assignment that's part of that unit. So don't do that yet until he sends that email, so that you have all the instructions for it and you've seen the rubric and you know what we're looking for. Because I don't want you to have to like make a video twice or anything. Any other questions? Okay. If there's no more last burning questions, maybe we can end for today. Thanks for joining and participating. I really enjoyed our conversation and hearing about the different items from your inventory check, and I am looking forward to hearing about the results from your trash audit next week, and I will have my trash audit ready to share with you as well. So yeah, thanks for joining and hanging out with me. Have a great weekend. Okay? Bye.